woman knows when that girl walks in.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
you know.
A 10.
There's a lot of 6s and 7 out here
Yeah.
that are like, I'm a 9 out of 10. And in fact, you're not.
No.
Right now, what I was talking about while we were in that restaurant is giving advice. And so I'll say this. I had a situation in college, and I'll leave the person nameless, but we'll say this, right? It sounds so made up when the story has a start like this, but this is fact. We were trying to get something done where we wanted to have an event at the school, we being the Omegas, right? And we had some people that were interested in becoming an Omegas. And so I like to see what, hey, if you become an Omega, you're going to have to throw events and stuff like that. Let me see your ability to go in there and get this done. I already know the person you're talking to. I already know in one phone call I can get it done. I want you to go in from scratch. I want to see if you can lock it in, right? And so they go in, they come out, and they're like unsuccessful. And so I'm like, well, how can we change what your approach was? Tell me what you went in there and said. Well, I went in and I was like, can I see your guys' calendar? I want to check out this space. And whatever it was not, well, it just was underwhelming in regards to like a pitch to like get an entertainment space booked. I'm like, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go in there. I want you to say, I have an event with 500 people and it's going to be popping and it's going to be off the chain and we're going to be giving back to the school. Everybody can come in and all that. I'm like, how can we help you? How can we work with you to throw this event in a way where it makes the school look good too? Right? I said, go in there and say that. They go in there, they come back, it didn't work again. I'm like, what did you say? We want to make the school look good and can I see the calendar? I'm like, you know what? It's hard to give that advice. That's one scenario, right? Where me having the experience I have of how I grew up, knowing how to go in and ask for a thing and trying to tell a person who doesn't have that experience and expecting them to get the same success I have. They not only have to say it the way I said it, or say what I said, they got to say it the way I said it. They got to carry the confidence that I would have carried when I walked in. They got to look trustworthy because you got to understand, in these college towns, people are trying to book event space all the time. Every fraternity, every sorority. They're looking at you like, are you going to tear our shit up? What organization are you from that we should trust to give you our keys and know that they're not going to pee, poop, and throw up all over it? Because trust me, if you rent to the wrong person, that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to tear up your walls. They're going to be doing, it's like rent to an Airbnb person. You're like, so I'm just trusting that you're going to do right by my Airbnb. You're not going to smoke it out. You're not going to, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to feed the animals or whatever your rules are. You got to vet through that. Right? So that's one example. Another example, you see a girl, your boy sees a girl, and he's like, man, you're like, just go up and talk to her. You're like, nah. Like, I can't give you the confidence you need to go over there and have the conversation with this girl, right? Man, you go over there and this is when we were younger and men were trying to figure out who, man, you go over there and holler at her for me. You can see that. You get over there, what does the girl say? Why he ain't come over here himself? I'll give you my number. Like almost every time. They're going for the confidence, right? Also, I watched Tom Segura. They asked him, hey, what advice do you give to younger comics? He's like, I try to tell them the obvious, like just get your reps in, but I try not to steer them away or steer them towards certain opportunities because I know in my own career, I have done some stuff that I did not like. I thought was a terrible experience. And from that, I changed what I was doing or I learned from that and it helped mold me into who I am today. So when somebody's like, hey, what advice can you give a young comic? It's not to be like, hey, yo, don't do triple runs, right? And that's what I was trying to tell you. And I was like, yo, that's a part of trouble. I wanted you to understand my experience with it, take it with a grain of salt. And if you would still want to pursue that, still pursue that. That's why I tell you about APCA, NACA, all these colleges. I'm like, let me tell you my experience with it. I'm not saying don't do it, but shit, it may not be the right thing. So it's hard to give advice to another person if they're not going to carry themselves the way that it requires to carry themselves to go in there. You teach somebody how to throw a right hand punch, man, this is going to help you keep all the bullies off of you. So now that they went in there and punched the kid and somebody grabbed their right arm, They're right back in the same position, right? You're like, why didn't you kick him too? Well, shit, you didn't teach me how to kick. You see what I'm saying? So it's hard to say, you know, I try not to give advice in that. I say all those examples to say, and I hope I haven't lost my thought in full because I want this to make sense. But when it comes to addressing women or dealing with somebody that likes you, or even if you're curving somebody, it can't be the instruction somebody else gave. You got to be the actual essence. Like the essence of that person is what is giving them that success.